There's way too much foreign influence in America, and I'll stand on that hill and I'll die on that hill. If you are a registered foreign agent, that shouldn't even be a thing, by the way, but if you're caught taking money on behalf of a foreign nation to influence the policies and politics of this country, you should go to Guantanamo Bay. There shouldn't be a legal thing that you can do. A lot of influencers do take foreign cash. Israel, Qatar, Iran, Iraq, Russia, Ukraine. There's money just flowing, and a lot of it is just fraudulent money. We pay these countries all this lavish USAID dollars, and then it all comes flowing back through CIA networks and whatever, influencer networks, and it should all be made illegal. I mean, I don't even care. Like, all these countries can sink into the sea as far as I'm concerned. It should be made illegal. Americans are the only ones who have a right to chart the path of this country. But there's one country that's left off the conversation, and it's arguably, I would say, the most overt when it comes to influencing our politics and the destiny of America, and that's China. And the reason nobody wants to talk about it is because China has us by the balls because of the way that our leaders have sold out the manufacturing of everything to China. And the creation of so much of our tech, so much of our economy is tied inextricably to China. And it would be very hard to deconnect it. It would be nearly impossible. It would take a generation to do so. And I hope we get about that work, because China is not a great partner. But I think because of this, because China knows that they got us, and they behave not passive aggressively, but aggressively. Like, they have their citizens rig our elections, right? Here's Chinese national, the University of Michigan, charged with illegally voting in 2024 election. You know what happened to this Chinese national, this communist who voted? He got spirited away out of the country. China came in. We had seized his passport and all of his documents because he was being federally charged. You voted illegally, kid. You know, Wan, Yen, whatever his name is. Jackie Chan. Like, you voted illegally. We're going to put you in jail in America. And Chinese special forces, Chinese intel agencies were able to smuggle him out of the country. It's a crazy, like, James Bond, Jason Bourne style story. Nobody talks about it. It's like a huge espionage operation. It's crazy. Nobody cares, right? Well, China would never do anything bad to America, right? Well, okay, they vote in our elections, but they never commit violence in our country, except for, of course, these Chinese Americans who tried to blow up a military base. They were anchor babies, by the way. Would-be asylum seekers had 2 children in the U.S. after getting a removal order from immigration authorities, and then they attacked a military base just down the road from me, actually. It just happened to be MacDill Air Force Base, where CENTCOM is. She had attempted to explode an IED at MacDill Air Force Base here in Tampa. Cool. Man and a woman entered the United States illegally 3 decades ago from China. They were clearly sleeper cells for the Chinese Communist Party, and then they tried to blow up an American military base. So don't tell me that, like, Chinese people are here, like, totally peacefully. No. They're enemy combatants, and that's why they're buying all the land around these military bases, obviously. And it should be stopped. This is what happened. They tried to blow up the base. Car packed with C4. Thank God nobody was hurt. DHS nabbed them for illegal entry. Parents, been here for decades. We're so weak as a country. 2 Chinese anchor babies just tried to bomb the United States Air Force Base. Got it. But it's also the Air Force Base where CENTCOM is. Just last week, top American generals were exposed for being Chinese intelligence assets, canoodling with the Chinese. Remember, you have Mark Milley calling the generals in China in order to tip them off to Trump's military plans. I think the guy should be put in the Hague. The guy should be on court-martial trial for treason. What's legally defined as treason? Yeah, correct. CCP intelligence officials buys building, steps from the White House. Okay, so have I established that China isn't acting in the best interest of the United States? There's like thousands of other examples. But now we have this exciting example. So this guy is a sniper. He's a trained sniper. And he bought a building overlooking the White House complex, where Donald Trump is often wandering around. You know, you can find Donald Trump outside wandering around all the time, looking at the building, looking at his improvements to the building. He bought a place 650 feet from the White House grounds for $8 million. Oh, okay. The building's new owner, Philip Kui, has held numerous positions within the Chinese intelligence and state security arms, according to records. He's a trained sniper. Did you know this? 650 feet is not far away. God gracious. Okay, cool. Why are we letting Chinese intel assets buy land in our country? Can Americans buy land? Can I go buy a house next to Xi Jinping? No. Americans and foreigners cannot buy any land in China because they're smarter than we are. CCP official who trained as a sniper bought a historic building overlooking the White House. So here's the building. Goodness gracious. And there's the White House. And again, you can just watch Donald Trump wandering around the grounds all the time. He's always out there. Excuse me, right? An intelligence officer from China is already trained sniper buying a building near the White House. You thought China was buying farmland was bad. Sorry, what? Philip Kui, which is trained sniper, 650 feet away from the White House doors. This is nuts. Please kick him out immediately. American naivete about China is off the charts. What is our government doing? How can this be allowed? CCP is trying to kill the President of the United States of America. You can see why we're farming out all of our manufacturing capacity to China is a national security issue. That's right. China setting up camp in enemy territory. For years, Heritage has been warning about the growing threat of CCP-linked purchase of American land. Shouldn't be allowed to own a single blade of grass. They don't let us own property. Why are we letting them do that? Why are we letting them engage in birth tourism? Why is that allowed? Goodness gracious, says like cute babies aside, right? Like communists are coming here and having children, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of children. They'll all be able to collect American welfare. They'll all be able to bankrupt our country. They'll all be able to vote in our elections. They already are voting illegally in our elections. California Mayor Elaine Wang admits to being Chinese spy. Elaine Chao, potentially a Chinese spy. She makes billions of dollars from China. I wonder how that works. She's married to Mitch McConnell. Don't you worry. Senator Feinstein employed a Chinese spy. Eric Swalwell banged a Chinese spy. Kathy Hochul had a Chinese spy in her office. Are you sensing a pattern? Kamala Harris is her VP choice, Tim Walz, has a secret fling with a Chinese spy. He also went to China and hung out and loved it. Look at him, a dirtbag. What a dirtbag. I'm a Stanford student. A Chinese spy tried to recruit me to be a spy. You sensing a pattern? There's foreign influence all around the nation, all around the country. It should all be stopped. It should be illegal. You should cut it all off. It shouldn't be allowed in our politics ever from anywhere. You should shut down all of the major foreign lobbying operations. Enough. That's what I think on this stuff. And yes, General Milley should be put in a court-martial trial for treason against the United States of America. In case you're wondering how I think about this. Yeah, please stop the purchase of the Chinese sniper who can now watch Trump's every move. Thanks.